Well, welcome everyone. Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. Today we're going to talk a little bit about Crucible of War. If anybody cares, I mean, it doesn't look like anybody cares. All anyone's talking about is Monarch First Edition, which is completely understandable. But I do think that it's important to continue to look at the other sets. So we'll continue to do Crucible of War. We're going to move those to Tuesdays. WTR or Arcane Rising will be Wednesdays, and then WTR will be Thursdays. We'll continue to update the market every week, kind of putting it back towards actual week hours rather than give me my weekend back. I need my weekend back, everyone. All right, so here we go. We're going to talk about that. Before we do, I always love to shout out that I do have a Patreon. If you want all this data as part of your life and you want to do a collection tracker, we have a brand new collection tracker out that looks great. It tracks all the values, kind of updated to what I do on these videos, so you can put together a collection tracker. It prints really good. It's really great. So if you're looking for that, make sure you hop there. And then I'd love to shout out Mitch. Mitch is a good friend at Midtown Merchant. We just did a stream together. It was a lot of fun. And he's got cards up on the website, midtownmerchant.com. Make sure you use the promo code Be Kind is our new promo code. So make sure you use that. And then patrons also get access to a 10% off promo code monthly. So that the Be Kind promo code will save you $5 off your purchase of $50 or more. All right, let's hop on in. Let's look at Crucible of War. Let's talk sealed box prices to start with. These things have kind of they've kind of plateaued up here at the 400, barely hitting 500, 1500 sometimes, but they're kind of plateaued here. This week sitting at like 1400. And this is even like auction, and then we had buy it now prices too. So pretty stable at the $1,400 mark. We saw it tick a little bit down kind of earlier in the week or late last week, but we're kind of floating back up to the $1,400 range as what you could expect to pay. I know sealed cases are going for like $1,500 each for four. Multiplied by 4 was that $6,000 for a sealed case, something like that. Maybe even a little bit more of a premium on a sealed case. That being said, single boxes are sitting at around $1,400. The shard, we did see an updated price today on the shard. It's the same price, but we had a 9.0. Sorry about that. We had a 9.0 that sold for $6,500, and it seems that 9.0s are fetching about the same as raw prices. Like 2 weeks ago we had a raw sell for $7,500, and we had a raw sell a week before that for $6,700. So now we're seeing a 9 sell for $6,500. I don't know. I'm going to keep that the raw price just based on the way that 9s have been moving. The auction thing gets to it too. I mean, this was an auction that also ended kind of in the hype of Monarch First Edition. So I'm going to keep it at $6,500. You might be able to get a shard in the 55 to 6 range. If you're really shopping around, you might be able to do that. If I was selling one, though, I would not be lowering it below the $6,500. I don't think many on the market would. So I'm going to leave a market price of $6,500 here for the shard. As we get into the legendaries, though, we did see a Cheyenne that sold at $5,500. I think there was even one at TCG Player when I ran the numbers that was available for $5,500. So Cheyenne at 55. The spring tunic sitting just a little bit below the $600 mark. This is, of course, the non-foil from Crew, the Crewnic as we call it, for $575. And then Twinning Blade also losing some value with the sold listing, sitting in at $1,600. So a lot of these legendaries dropping down. I know the Twinning Blade isn't technically a legendary, but I put it in here because it seems to be about that pull rate of the other 3 cards. So I put it in there as a legendary just because it's kind of specific. And so that puts your average growth at minus 15% there. Your average is sitting at $2,558. So you can see these have kind of plateaued too. We had a huge growth, and now people are taking gains and even over gaining probably a little bit as we kind of see the market being pretty soft on these 3 cards in particular. But the other thing is the cold foils. Everything's kind of down in Crew this week. I'm not going to lie. This is going to be a little bit of a bummer for those of you who love Crew, and I'm a person that loves Crew. We were seeing strong movements leading up to Monarch in Crew. A lot of speculation on a lot of the cards, particularly like Centauri Saber, a lot of speculation on it. A lot of speculation on just some other cards that people thought might have an effect in Monarch, and then that never happened. and maybe we just haven't seen enough gameplay for Monarch to know what is going to happen. But a lot of these rares had spiked up to the 250 mark. I think the average of the rare was 272. And now we're dipping down kind of back to the 175, 150, 175, 195, 240. A lot of these are dipping down under the $200 mark. The average is still up for the cold foil rare, still sitting at 220, but the downwards trend is definitely continuing. I mean, we had a huge increase in these numbers, right, over the last couple weeks, and then just a hard fall with Monarch. I think a lot of this is people taking money. That's my opinion. We'll see what happens over the next couple weeks as these prices dip down. I mean, these prices are starting to look starting to look pretty good if you're a buyer. So. The Majestics, there was a skull horn that sold for $460. That's kind of in line with the price 2 weeks ago, but we had a spike up the other day. We had another Crater Fist that sold at the $800 mark. The rest of these, not really a ton of movement in the market on them, just kind of cards sitting there. We'll see they're kind of sitting a little bit higher on the marketplace than these last sold. So I think people are kind of waiting to see what happens. And then I think also people who are taking gains aren't the people who are holding the Majestic cold foils. So Gambler's Gloves, though, did sell. So that kind of puts your average cold foil sitting at 418. That's down 10%. And even your Majestic cold foils are down, not as much percentage-wise, but they are down about the same in terms of average value. Let's go ahead and look at the Majestic rainbow foils. A lot of softness in all of the Majestics all the way around. We're down 11%. You can see the graph. Like, we had huge gains. Like, we've had gains like crazy. It was kind of boom, boom, boom. And then we saw huge gains in the Majestic rainbow foils. And in particular, we saw some gains based around Monarch cards. I mean, this was kind of hype of Monarch spoiler season. And the cards started to pick up a little bit there. And then now they've flatlined, and now they're trying to trend back downwards. So we'll see what happens here as the post-Monarch hype cools things down potentially. But we also will start seeing other cards being played in decks that we didn't maybe anticipate, that the market didn't anticipate, and that might have an effect on some of the prices of some of these cards. So some of the things to highlight here, let's see, where's our spoils? Fine Center losing a little bit of value in the rainbow foil version. Beast Within, which was like a really speculative card, I can't say that word. It was really, people were specking on Beast Within with the Brute stuff. That's down, $50. A lot of things going on there. Twinning Blade, though, still moving up. And then Spoils of War on TCG Player right now, you can pick yourself up a Spoils of War for $170. So it's been on there for a day or two, and it's still available. So, I think there's just some weird things happening as people are focusing mostly on Monarch. So nothing major, though. A lot of just downward pressure, averaging out at around $84, which is an 11% loss. The Majestics are also, obviously, this is the non-foil Majestics, are also kind of following that trend. They're down 8%, and there's a lot of the same thing happening, kind of just all over the place. I mean, some of these equipment, though, like Bloodshade Skeleton, not going down. That one's actually going up a little bit. Visiotronic going down. I mean, all of these are still holding value. Courage of Blade Hold is actually going up. A lot of these things are going to be used still with the Monarch cards, and nothing really replaced it. But that being said, like, a lot of the other cards are just kind of dropping. Again, people are taking gains, and these cards were kind of spiked up. They've kind of been trending up as more and more things were spoiled. They trended up, and then they flatlined. They trended up, and they flatlined. And so now we're starting to see a little bit more of like a profit taken, pain for Monarch, yada, yada, yada. You guys get it. You get what's happening. Everyone knows that this is happening on the market. What really the question is where are the deals? I mean, if you were shopping around for Courage, right now is not the time. But if what's happening on the market with the other cards happens with Courage, maybe that's the time that you pick up that Courage that you didn't have the money for 2 weeks ago. There's not a ton of things to happen, though. I mean, the things that are down 8% isn't huge. It's just that the market as a whole, everything's kind of down. It's kind of interesting. Anyway, the rare rainbow foils, just keep in mind, I just use TCG low on the rare and common cards, but we are down 12%. So sellers have reduced their cards in price by 12%, or more cards have entered the market underneath, causing downward pressure towards 12%. Average sitting at around $15. A lot of this is due to these kind of short printed cards, which are, I mean, look at that. I mean, look at just the short printed cards. Lunging press from 35 to 25, springboard somersault from 48 to 27. A lot of movement on those cards. And then even some of the heroes, I mean, $5-6 adds up all in all with all this data. Benji, which was kind of hitting a price of 125, kind of down to 116. KO, kind of the cheapest of the the rainbow foil heroes right now. So just keep that in mind that this is just TCG low pricing. And if you want to look at the graph, like we've been pretty flat. It just hasn't been moving much lately. And then the rares, your kind of average rare as we drive into this, your average rare, oops, I didn't percentage it out yet. Your average rare is sitting, oh wow, that takes a while, at 254, which is really just not really a change from last week. So no major things to talk about with the rares. Some of these, the weapon cards have a decent amount of value though, like Reaping Blade. I mean, it's just they're selling around these prices too. Some of these ones that are actually played, like Centauri Sabers, $5 to $6, $3 to $5 on those. And there's a lot of decent value there. So the common rainbow foils, if we take a look at those, some of the big ones to talk about: Seismic Surge tokens, IRA, they're down. Seismic Surge is down, IRA is up. But I mean, a Seismic Surge token, if this was, in my opinion, like if you were looking to pick up some foil tokens, this is the time to do it. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Unless you're waiting for the unlimited version ones, but this was the time to do it. I think Rune Chants, if you're looking for a full set of Rune Chant, $5 for a Rune Chant token. We haven't seen $5 Rune Chant tokens for over a month. They were $3 back then. They jumped up, and now they've been kind of slowly going down, I guess. But I guess it seems like these are the times to pick up some of the stuff like Cracked Bauble. If you're looking for a Cracked Bauble to complete your collection, well, it hasn't been $53 for since almost the beginning of the year. In the middle of February it was 55. I guess we had one small blip where it was 59. So, but it just seems like this is the time to pick up those cards, in my opinion. So, all in all, your average price is sitting at $273, which is a 35% loss. I've shared a lot of my opinions. If you want more of my opinions, I do have a podcast as part of my Patreon that's called If I Were Investing. That's at the $15 tier. We talked about Monarch this week, of what I would be doing, or was really heavily investing in Monarch. That being said, the commons, a little bit of value there. And then let's look at our EV chart. All right, so in each box, you're going to have one cold foil, and your average cold foil is here. But really, this average cold foil price takes into consideration that the Majestic cold foil is printed about half as often. It's kind of what it assumes. Your Majestics, you're going to have 6 Majestics in a box, 2 foil Majestics, 41 rares, 5 foil rares, 1 in 10 chance at hitting a legendary, and 1 in 40 chance at hitting a Fable card. So just straight value-wise, your box EV is sitting at $1,275. So if you were to open 40 boxes, that's what you would be able to expect per box, is $1,275.77. If you open one box and you don't hit a legendary or Fable, on average, you'll be sitting more like $857. But if you open a box and you don't hit a legendary or a Fable and you hit a Majestic cold foil, you'll actually be above the average price right now, which would put you at $1,307. But if you open a rare cold foil and no legendary cold foil, no legendary, no Fable, and no Majestic cold foil, you'd be sitting at $801.88. And 66 cents. And then if you own a master set of this product, which is one of each card, like one rainbow foil, one non-foil, and one cold foil, you'd be sitting at $28,530. So let's look at how this compares to last week, or really a week and a half ago. We're down 10%, so down quite a bit. Again, we have not seen crew cards going down. I guess you could kind of see it happening if you look at the historical chart here. Like, we haven't really ever seen crew go down. We saw it a little bit back when boxes were cheap, and then since boxes have started skyrocketing, the singles prices have just been going up. And you saw it kind of tail off here, right? The hype of the early April, we saw some hype, and then it just kind of tailed off, and now we have a big negative, which is an interesting thing for Crucible of War for sure. So let's look at the top cards to gain or lose value. This is where you really can make some decisions on what to buy or what to sell. Right now, obviously, the only cards that have really gone up there's really like 3 cards that have gone up in value. Plasma Purifier, Twinning Blade, and Aether Conduit. That's a cold foil. The other 2 are Majestic Rainbow Foils, up 25%, up 23%, up 5%. Non-foil, really nothing much moving up. So like if I'm looking at this, I'm not selling right now because nothing is moving up in price. The cards that are down in value, if you're looking for some deals, Centauri Saber lost 50%. We kind of saw a blip with Bolton's spoiler. Kind of people got excited about the idea of using Centauri Sabers, and now I guess people have forgotten about that. I don't know. Maybe they're just saying that the hammers are better, the axes are better. So minus 50% there. Plasma Barrel Shot Cold Foil, losing 45%. Springboard Somersault, like, man, if you're finishing a set and you didn't need these, that's down 44% this week. Edge of Autumn Cold Foil, down $125 for 41%. Runeblood Barrier down 36%. These are the foils. So there's a lot of deals, I think, to be had right now. The question is, where's the bottom? And that's for your own decisions. And then some of the a lot of the Majestic normal cards are all down too. Feigned Death, Stamp Authority, and Flood Force down the most, 50%, 36%, and 28% respectively. So all that being said, Crucible, I know, man, we're down to, it's weird having a negative week. I gotta say, it's weird having a downturn week in Crucible. We kind of saw it coming though. I think we did see it coming, and with the Monarch hype, I'm not surprised. So all that being said, I hope you guys have yourself a great day, and you remember to be kind to the people around you. And if you're interested in having all this stuff as a collection tracker, hit up my Patreon. It really does help support the channel. And hit up Mitch over at Midtown Merchant too if you're looking to buy some singles. Appreciate y'all. Have a good day. Remember to be kind to the people around you. Where's that button? Where's that button for you to have time to like hit the like button, all that stuff? Oh, there it is. Ending.